is not the night before Christmas, but all through the house, not a creature is stirring and not even a mouse. So that means it's time to play some Washington's War. Here we are, all set up here, ready to go. Get ready to winter attrition phase. Get close to that French intervention. Turn markers here. We got our Continental Congress down here. And here's our hero of the day, old Washington. Took old Cornwallis and sent him into the captured spot. He's in the captured box. So I think the Continental Congress is a little bit safe for now. Okay, that's about it. We got the little bit of decorations going on here. Nice little game there from old Mark Herman and GMT Games for the holidays. Let's see what goes on with the winter attrition phase. I don't think any of my guys got into quarters. If they would be, I think it only counts with Washington anyway, so we have to take some, see how bad the winter is. Let me go through the winter attrition phase and we'll be right back. Some more of the holiday playthrough of Washington's War. Our winter attrition is as follows. Old Carlton here is safe. He's only got he's got two. Howe is safe with his 5. Clinton's caught out in the open, but he's only got 1, so he can't get his last unit eliminated. Down south here, the Brits are immune anyway because they're south of the old line. We come up here to the colonist. That old Arnold only has 1, so he's immune. You can't lose your last one. You can if he's by himself, but if he's with a general, I don't think you can. I'll go double check that real quick. You'll roll a dice if he's by himself. Now here we go to Washington. He's south, so he could save up to 5, even though he's not in winter quarter. So here's the 5 he'll save. He's got 4 that he can't save. You lose 50%. That's 2 off of his total. So Washington's going to lose 2 combat factors to attrition. Alrighty. Let me check the rule on the single general, and I shall return for the no French naval phase because there is no French yet, but political control phase will be next. Gotta check a rule, and I'll be right back. I was right. You just roll farm if there's a single unit, so everybody's taken care of there. The only attrition losses were Washington, so it wasn't too bad of a winter attrition phase. Skip the French phase. We'll go down here to the political control phase. I believe that's just flipping over spots where you have generals and no political control markers. And each side gets to place 1 political control marker. And then we'll go through and find out who's in control of what. I'll update that. So let me go check on the rules and follow through, and I'll let you know what happens. Okay, the political control phase consists of the Continental Congress segment. Wow, Continental Congress is good. They weren't dispersed in a dispersed box. Second thing is we place political control markers in an uncontrolled space and flips to friendly control any enemy political control markers in any space currently occupied by one of his armies. So, okay. Guess that's I'm out of political control markers. I gotta punch me out some counters. I'll be right back. Okay, let's make sure we got out control of any spot with our army. That's always Burgoyne's good, I think. Oh, Carlton. He's got a spot there, so I think they're all good. Yeah, they all got control. So as the British, does it say anything about who does what? British players place. Okay, so I'll go British first. So where do I want to place the political control marker? I want to do some insulation. What can I insulate? Or do I want to... I got a place. I was going to look for South Carolina for a modifier. I don't see one. I don't see no place to insulate around here either. Really. Unless Connecticut does. I will look and see if Connecticut insulates everybody, or isolates rather. Yeah, we're not insulating against the cold. We're isolating. Oh, Connecticut looks like a good spot. These guys be isolated big time. I mean, I can't go here. Can't get nobody there. I mean, I can get each other. No general, so it looks like a good spot. Just looking at it, not spending too much time on it. The American, on the other hand, make sure he's got political control. He does not here, so he'll get one where Washington is. Put that down there first. Kind of hard to do with one hand while you're holding the camera. Oh, is that flip to? Oh, he's gonna have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How did he get an extra one? Oh, one was saved. Yeah, okay. This one suffered. All right, so that's good. Okay. Political control marker for him. Did I put it down there yet? Yeah. There we go. Alright, well, I get one there then. Another general. That's all the generals I got. So for their one placement, can they do anything to help out up here? Huh. I'll have to look at that isolated rule. See what that says, because it looks like I could place mine right here and isolate this one. That might be what happens. Okay. On to the isolation phase, and I'll see if my placements did any good. Time for rule reading. We shall return. I done read the rules here, and I give you some good examples. It's all about tracing a spot to an open space. So if I'm interpreting it correctly, none of these guys are isolated because they can trace a spot through an American controlled space to an open space. These guys can do the same thing. What I was worried about is here, but he can trace a path to a general, I guess. Or there's an open space. I don't think he's isolated. None of these guys are isolated. And then you come down here to a general, to a general, to a general, to a general, to a general. Oh, what we got over here? Fort Prince, he might be isolated. Open space here. Maybe that counts. So, let me read this again. Not isolated if it can trace a path through adjacent American controlled space. Huh. So adjacent American controlled space. Well, he can't trace a path through an American controlled space. So he can go to a general. Path through American controlled space here to a general. I think he's the only one here that can be isolated. Let me read that again, and I'll be back. Example, he can trace to an open space that's uncontrolled. Here we have an example here. Both of these guys are just tracing to an open space that's uncontrolled, so that's what they're basically doing. These guys are not insulated, or isolated. And that'll be it. Americans don't suffer any isolations. on to the British. We'll see if they get any political isolations. Be right back. I don't think there's any British isolations either. They're usually at a port or adjacent to a free space, and we gotta give them the same rule we gave the Americans in the example on the rule book. So that is it. We are going over to the end phase here, and I've already moved my turn marker. British still got their regulars. British get 8 reinforcements this turn. Alright, no French alliance. And the war is not in yet. 1781 cards still in effect. So, get all the reinforcement cards here. Place them back here. Alright. Okay, now I think there's one thing I forgot to do is update this little mini map here. So let me go through and check out the political control of each territory, and we'll see if there's a net gain for the British, who only control 4 territories. So we'll update that real quick. Be back. The only change I see is the colonists lost control of Connecticut, which is now neutral. That's what the placement of that one marker right there. So here's an update situation. I think the Brits better start spreading some control. Colonists get battle modifiers in all these colonies here. That'll work. If you're a colonist, I don't know if you're like a little Alexander on Player's Aid, you won't be too happy. Him and his buddy King Georgie. Okay, I gotta make sure that's a cleanup for end phase, and we will go back to the reinforcement phase. Be right back. Reinforcement phase. Oh, Cornwallis gets out of jail free card, I guess. Put him here. Now, I don't know if memory serves me right, but old Cornwallis surrendered to Washington at Yorktown. But in my game, he surrendered to him in South Carolina. Utah Springs. I guess that's what it's called. But anyway. Okay, back to the game. 1778. They get 8 reinforcements. So, Brits. Oh, here we go. We got them all ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. That is the British reinforcements. No other generals to bring on for the Brits. Make sure I got everything done here. The British player gets combat units, yep, listed, blah, 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 blah. Alright, strategy card phase. 7 cards to each. We'll be back. I'm going to deal them out, and we'll have a look at the cards here in a second. Get on with the old important strategy phase. What's it looking like? I think Washington's looking to kick some butt, start moving up north. But it all depends on the cards that are dealt. We'll see how Lady Luck spreads her wealth. We'll be back. And the cards have been dealt. British player needs a major or minor event card to go first. He don't, but we will look at his cards here. He's got 3 cards that he really don't need. 2 of them are American event cards, and this one here gets played after the European War is in effect, so these will have to be political control markers. Not really that good for the British player. Then he has some ops cards, which aren't bad for activating some of those expensive to activate British generals. So kind of a junky hand for the British player. We'll see what he can do with that. So he can't go first. He can't decide who will draw first or who will play the first card. Continental Congress wasn't dispersed. They're still there. So let's look at the American hand. Oh, all right. We've got. Well, I've never seen this card yet. Oh, sorry about that. Minor campaign. Activate 2 generals. Each activated general strategy. All right, well, that's a good one. That beats out anything the British player has yet. Oh, look what we got here. Look what we got here. North Government Falls. The war ends in 1779, and it is 17. War ends next turn. Oh shit! Let me show you this card here. This card here is a killer. All right, we'll see. Now, how do you play this card as the colonial player? I think the colonial player is winning if the game ends by political control markers. So I think I'm going to hold back on this card, play it till the end. Oh, what we got here? Oh shit! The American colonial players got all kinds of good cards here, and some good op cards too. All right, well, I think I know who's going to win this game. All right, we'll hold off and play this card towards the end. All right, shoot. Do I want to destroy his army? I don't know if I can. Must be played American before battle. That's nice. Oh, what do I need to do? I'm going to think this out for a little bit. This card here, definitely, I don't know if it makes a difference if I play this now or if I was playing another player. I mean, I know it's a solo game I'm playing here, but would you play this card now in the middle or in the end? Alright, since I know the game's ending next turn, unless there's another card that gets played, hopefully somebody else, well, I guess no more cards can get dealt this turn. If they're dealt the next turn and there's another card, hopefully that extends the war. Well, we'll see. It ain't looking that bad for the colonial players, so I got some taking to do. And I will return for this holiday edition of Washington's War. We'll be back. We're back. Just some information here. That was a card the British needed. It helps them out a lot. It's got some little stuff down here at the bottom. So they could have did all kinds of things and went first. So I think, like I said, I don't want the other guy to know what's going on here. The war's getting ready to end, so I'll wait and play that card last if I was playing another opponent. When the North Government falls and the war ends, the British player wins if they control 6 or more colonies at the end of the game. Well, they only control 4 right now, so it ain't looking good for them, and they don't know that the game's going to end, or supposedly they don't know how to play that. So the bad thing about non-solo games. But anyway, the Americans win if they control 7 or more. Right now they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. They got 8. Yeah, they control 8. So they're good. Time to hang on to those colonies and start putting some political control markers down. If the British and the American both achieve victory, neither side achieves a victory, then the British player wins by default. So the side with the most political control markers in a colony controls the colony. If tied, neither player controls that colony. Control Canada, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, that's what we need to do. What does the American player? I think I'm going to go first there, Mr. Britt. So, oops. Making a mess over here. Making a mess. Alright. Which card to play first? Activate 2 generals. Reinforcements. I can bring in 3 and 3. That's 6, but then I can't use no political control marker. I think I'm going to do all these for political controls. Might be a political control offensive. But that might, if I was playing another player, like their curiosity as to what I'm doing, putting all those political control markers down. Alright, we're going to take a little break here, and we might be back. It's getting late. Might be back tomorrow or earlier on tonight. We'll see how it goes. Great game here. Really enjoying this. With all these standing up units and everything. Having fun down here in the war room section of the man cave. Happy holidays, people.